No, I suppose not.
So, in this case, doing the right thing would in fact be doing the wrong thing. And the man defined as a good man would in fact be a bad man.
Oh, come on, Socrates. Give me a break. What's the point? I mean, you're so wise. You tell us. What makes a good person?
I have no answers at all. I was hoping, Thrasymachus, that you might tell us.
Well, it's perfectly obvious that everyone is just doing what is in their best interests. The reality is that justice in this day and age is what is in the interest of the stronger party. As a matter of fact, I'll take it even further. The advantage goes to the unjust person every single time.
If I understand you.
At this point in the story, Socrates smashes the theory that might makes right. But back in Athens, might smashed right. The leaders of the shaky democracy had only recently lost the Peloponnesian War. They were tired of being stung by Socrates' sharp tongue. In 399 BC, the 69-year-old philosopher was brought to trial for undermining the system.
The official charge was that he did not believe in the gods of the city and that he corrupted the young. He showed you how to find holes in what other people believed, but didn't necessarily, in fact never, substitute something positive in its place. And that was seen as a very dangerous thing, which in fact it was. After all, Plato, his greatest disciple, was also the greatest critic Athens has ever had.
Socrates' trial was attended by half of Athens, including Plato. He says Socrates was offered his freedom if he would just stop questioning people. But he refused, proclaiming that the unexamined life was not worth living. Found guilty by a jury of 500, he suggested he be sentenced to free meals at City Hall for the rest of his life. They didn't laugh. He was condemned to die by drinking a poison made from the hemlock plant. Plato's account of the death of Socrates made him a symbol of free speech and a favorite subject for artists like Jacques-Louis David.
His friends come to say goodbye to him, and he spends the whole day trying to convince them that the soul is immortal and that after he dies, the soul, which is the most valuable part of the human being, is going to remain perfectly unharmed. Socrates takes the poison and starts drinking it and continues discussing the issues. The executioner says, please don't do that, because if you get agitated and you talk too much, the poison doesn't work so quickly. Socrates says, now leave me alone, he says. Leave us alone, my good man. Your job is to give the poison as many times as it takes to kill me. My job is to have a discussion for as long as I can. He insisted on talking until the very, very end. Plato closes the dialogue by describing him as the best, the wisest, and the most just man of all we knew at that time.
The martyrdom of Socrates made a political career unthinkable for Plato. He spent the rest of his life carrying on his teacher's work. Nobody knows for sure where Socrates' ideas leave off and Plato's begin. Over time, the two names have become interchangeable. It is as Socrates that Plato plans a new world, where wisdom, not power, rules. And it is Socrates who explains why philosophers must be its kings. Until philosophers are kings, or the kings and princes of this world have the spirit and the power of philosophy, and political greatness and wisdom meet in one, our cities will never have rest from their evil. No, nor the human race.
Incidentally, if you'd like to join the dialogue, 808-5600 is the number to call. Alec and Tiburon, welcome.
Well, is it what?
Back at the party, Socrates has turned into the dinner guest from hell. The rest of the company has been drawn into the debate.
I'd like to believe that honesty and morality and justice are qualities that are worth having, even if they never bring fame or glory or power, but I don't think you've begun to make your case.
Are you willing to compare the lives of two men, say, one poor, rather boring, innocent citizen who is wrongfully accused of theft and thrown into jail, with the mayor of the city, who's renowned as a dynamic, charismatic leader, but who in reality is robbing from the public trust, cheating on his wife, and getting away with all of it? which of them is better off?
You want me to prove that virtue is its own reward?
But you have to prove that the good and honest person who goes unrewarded and unrecognized comes out ahead in the end.
You're on. We'll begin with a very simple society with men and women leading very basic lives, living close.
And so Socrates begins to fantasize the first utopia in Western literature. Perhaps they can find that good person with the best life here, he reasons. For after all, society is just the soul writ large.
He originally creates the city as a device in order to understand something about human beings. He wants to say that each of us is made up of three parts. There's a rational part, there's an emotional part that loves honor and gets angry and so on, and then there's what he calls the appetitive part, which is the part that wants food and drink and sex and so on, the bodily appetites.
Those animal appetites must be kept in their cages. Reason and honor will rule the republic, just like the well-ordered soul. Everybody gets one job for life, and a color-coded class. Bronze for workers, merchants, and artisans. Silver for police and soldiers. And pure gold, naturally, for the philosopher king.
See, he said that there's three types of people: the gold person, the silver person, etc. Now you may say, oh my God, that means some people are not as good as others. Well, let me ask you something.
Who's to determine what class they get into?
It's real simple. I could never be a linebacker. I said that yesterday on the 49ers. But don't let me sit and listen to